Hello and welcome to another Blender bite-sized video. In this one I'm going to show you how to create this procedural multicolored polka dot design in Blender 4. Here's a quick rundown of the specs that I'm using. So I've got Blender 4.2, Windows 11, NVIDIA graphics card, Cycles render engine and a custom startup file. Just before I continue with the tutorial, let me remind you that you can grab this material and hundreds more on my Gumroad store, blenderbitesize.gumroad.com. Okay, so here we are in the scene. It's a very simple setup that I've got a separate video showing how to create if you'd like to see that. But I'm now going to switch over to the shading tab and enable display render preview. I've selected the object and I'll assign a new material by clicking new. And the first job is to set the metallic value at 1, then roughness at 0.5, index of refraction at 1, increase the weight of the coat to 1 and the roughness to 0.125. This is basically just giving me my background material at the moment. Next I'm going to press Shift A and apply a Voronoi texture. I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate that. I'll change the second one to N sphere radius. Then I'm going to connect the distance output from the first Voronoi texture to the base color. Then I'm going to search for and apply a math node between those two. Change that to less than. So we've already got a spotty pattern here. Then I'm going to search for a mix color node and apply that between the math node and the principled shader. I'm going to connect the math node to the factor of that mix shader. Then I'm going to get another math node, set that to multiply, connect the radius of the second Voronoi texture to the first value, and connect up the output value into the math node that I originally created. And then I'm just changing the colors as you see me do there in the mix color node. So now we've got some black spots on the white background. Next up, I'll add a mapping node and texture coordinate, connect those to both Voronoi textures, and set the object output of the texture coordinate as the vector input on the mapping node. Next, I'm going to get a color ramp and drop it in there. And I'll give myself some space. I'm going to connect the color output from the first Voronoi texture to the input of the color ramp, and then connect that to the second color socket on the mix color node. Switching the mode to hue, saturation and lightness, or HSL. Then I'm going to add a bunch of extra nodes here and distribute them evenly. So I've got 5 extra nodes, and I'm going to set the color values as you see me doing here. So the first one was red, second one is going to be orange, third one is going to be yellow. I think you see how this is going. I'm basically doing a rainbow strip. So Richard of York gave battle in vain, red, orange, yellow, green, indigo, blue, violet. So I'll keep on doing that. And you can see already that the polka dot colours are changing according to the colour stops on the colour ramp, which I think is a very cool trick. So next I'm going to add an input value below the mapping node, and then duplicate that 2 more times. I'm going to name the top one pattern scale, the middle one randomness, and that needs a value of 0 to 1, so I'll add that there so I can remember in the future. If you need to get this side panel open, by the way, just press N while your cursor is in that node area. And then the third one will be dot size, again a value of 0 to 1. So the pattern scale value I'm going to connect up into both Voronoi textures in the scale input, and I will set that to 5. The randomness I will connect into both randomness inputs on the Voronoi texture, and I'll set it to 1. And then the dot size I'll connect to the second math node that was at the bottom in the bottom value slot and set it at 0.95. So now we have some small and large dots according to the values we've put in those boxes. I'll just tidy things up a bit. It's not easy when you've got lots of connectors running behind and over the top of each other. Okay, so there's the node setup as you see it here. We can change all of the other values on that Voronoi texture to 0. We don't want any extra math going on. And then I'm going to select all of those nodes you saw me do here, press Shift P to add a frame, and call it pattern size and color. That way I know that that's what will generate the pattern size and color of the dots. The principled shader itself is going to give me the overall texture or design. And I'm also going to connect that same mix node into the roughness slot as well, so that basically it will make some parts of the design rough and some not rough. So the dots here will be metallic. You can change this to whatever you fancy. I'm going to add a bump node though, connect that mix output into the height socket and connect that to the normal of the principled shader, and then invert it, and that will give me a little bit of dimension to the polka dots themselves, so it looks like they're surface decoration. I'll give that a name so that if I need to assign it to another project I can find it easily in the blend file. And then the color value obviously in the mix node is what will change the color in the background, so you can actually apply this to different colored surfaces. Anyway, I'll put that back to white. You can change obviously the colors, by the way, by changing the color ramp as I've shown, and changing the different distribution methods and the way that their distance along that line will also affect the overall color patterning as well as the interpolation mode. I'm just running through a few different ones here to show you the different effects. I like that one. You can obviously change the pattern scale if you want a bunch of smaller dots or bigger dots. The randomness, obviously if you drop it to 0, it will just create a grid of dots. All the way to 1 will be totally random. And the dot size, as I showed earlier, is controlled by that value there. If you go all the way up past 1, it will resort to the Voronoi texture, which is quite angular. Anything below 1 will give you a dot. Okay, so let's have a look at the render settings here. I'll just run through them very briefly and I'll scroll down. Feel free to pause if you need to take note or copy any over. But basically these are all the settings that I've used to generate the render that I'm going to. So if you get anything different at your end, this possibly is why. Now obviously I've got the compositor set there, so I'm going into the compositing node. I've got despeckle and denoise and some lens distortion here. Not essential at all. Denoising helps to speed things up though, because you can set a higher noise threshold. So I'll just run that through for a single frame, and we've got about 5 or 6 seconds per frame, which makes a 10-second animation nice and speedy to render out, as you're seeing here. Anyway, that's it for this one. I hope you've liked it. If you have, please remember to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe for future content, and hit the bell icon for notifications when they get released. In the meantime, thanks for watching.